story time of why you should always listen to God when he tells you to do something. So there's two parts to this story of God testing my faith in just the same day. So the first test was at the hospital. My daughter had a dentist appointment. If you know children's, they have a dentist appointment inside the office, so we were going there. So usually I park in the front to go in through the front because it's easier to see like A through, B, C, D, whatever. But this time I couldn't find a front parking, so I had to park a little lower in the garage. I have to take the elevator. So I had to go through the lunchroom. So after she's done with her appointment, we went back through the lunchroom, and I seen this couple with their kid that was hooked up to a bunch of machines. So instantly, guys, like, pray for this family. I kept walking. I walked out the door. I went up the stairs, and during that whole time, me walking upstairs, going to elevator, getting in my car, God just continued to tell me to pray for this family. So I started praying for the family, not with the family, but by myself for the family. But God told me after I got done praying for the family by myself and not with them, he wanted me to pray with the family. And you guys have to remember that after, when he was saying like when the kid gets well, they're not going to be able to look back on the moment you prayed for them and remember this moment of how God brought them through. So I failed that test. And I felt so guilty and so bad. I was telling God, like, when you send me another test, I'm going to do what you tell me to do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Like, I felt so guilty and bad by not obeying God. The same day, my fiance called saying he finally sold his car. He's going to meet him at Meijer. So I really didn't feel like going because I had a long day. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to go anyway. I'm sorry in the background if you hear like my baby crying. She's laying down and it's 9 o'clock at night and it's her bedtime. But anyway, he goes out. They're checking out his car. I'm in my car, pulled off to the side, somewhere totally opposite from where he's at, so they can check out the car and look at the car and everything. So it's this lady coming up the hill, biking up the hill, and she stops behind me behind this tree. And not even 2 seconds in, guys, like, buy her some food. And my anxiety, I let my anxiety and my fear get over me with talking to people because I'm just like, I don't want to be wrong when these feelings come to me, when these things come to me, like, and I'm just like, God, is that you? Are you sure, God? Are you sure, God? Like, just like questioning God, like, are you sure? Question him, But anyway, I was just sitting there. He just kept bugging me. Buy her some food, buy her some food, buy her some food. Over and over again. Like, it's like repeating over and over and over. Kept bugging me. Telling me to do this. So I'm just sitting here like, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, So she gets on the phone. And instantly God's just like, basically telling me to listen in to her conversation. Because I never listen to in on anyone's conversation when it comes to phone calls. Anything, that's your business. I don't do that. But he told me to listen in on this lady's phone call. So I roll my window down. I'm leaning to the side a little bit, trying to hear exactly what she's saying. And she was saying how she was homeless and her son knew what she was going through, everything like that, just saying how she's homeless, everything. And God's trying to confirm to me that she needs this food. She's homeless. This is why I'm telling you, buy her some food. Knowing me, I still didn't go over there and say, hey, I want to buy you some food. I didn't do that. So she biked off and she left. So after she left, I'm like, no, I'm not going to fail you again. I'm not going to fail you again. I'm not going to fail you again. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So I'm sitting there circling around the parking lot because I'm like, you didn't go far. There's no way. There's nowhere to go. And I couldn't find her. So I parked and I'm talking to God. I'm like, God, if this is meant for me to buy her some food, bring her to me. He told me to go to McDonald's. I'm like, all right. I told my fiance, hey, I'm going to McDonald's real quick. He's like, all right. So I head down to McDonald's. As soon as I pull into McDonald's, she was down at McDonald's trying to put her bike in the back of her front car. So I turn around, I pull up next to her, and I was like, excuse me. I'm nervous. So I say, excuse me. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I feel like God's telling me to buy you some food. I literally said it like that, like, God's telling me to buy you some food. And she just looked away, and she was just sitting there. She was like, she just you just seen the joy. You just seen the joy in her eyes when I said that, y'all. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I just feel like God's telling me to come over here, buy you some food. I was telling her how she was back here, and telling her how like God kept telling me to buy you food. I didn't listen to him, and then like he told me to come to McDonald's, and you're here. I was like, I just feel like it's meant for me to buy you some food. I feel like he really is telling me to buy you some food. So she telling me her situation and everything like that. So I started talking to her, telling her that God sees you. He loves you. He sent me to you to give you some food because he knows what you're going through. So she's tearing up and everything. Like, I'm talking to her, you know. And I told her, she said she had to go, she said she was going to go up the street to her friend's house to freshen up. She doesn't live with her friend, but her friend was like, I guess, letting her freshen up or whatever. And she said she was coming back here in 20 minutes. And we're trying to figure out her bike situation because her bike couldn't fit in her car or none of that. She didn't know what to do. So I told her, I was like, I'm going to go to Meijer. I'm going to shop for you. And I'll meet you back here in 20 minutes. So that's what we did, me and my kids. I'm sorry, you guys. The light went off in my daughter's room, and now she's crying. Now she's crying, so I gotta let her lay back down and go back to sleep, y'all. It's 9:42, and usually she just falls asleep, so I'm sorry for the background. Okay, so let's make this fast. So I went back to McDonald's after I got everything she needed, and I'm waiting for her with my fiance. And like, we were sitting there for like maybe like 40 minutes to an hour, and he's like, I'm ready to go home. He's mad. I'm ready to go home. Let's go. How long we gonna sit here? I'm like, no. She said she's gonna be here in 20 minutes. I trust she's gonna be here in 20 minutes. So like, you know, he leaves, went into McDonald's, and I'm like sitting there asking, I'm like, God, like, where is she? Like, God, like, bring her to me, you know? He went in there, he come back out. I'm like, hey, can you go back in there and see if you see a lady with spaghetti strap shirt on with freckles on her chest? You know, I should have just went in there in the first place when I first put up, when I was like, okay, I'm here at the time, and she's not here. I should have went in there anyway, but I didn't. He went in there, she was in there, and God was telling me how he was working on my patience, so that's why he had me sit there for a long time. So yeah, definitely was patient there. But he went in, got her the food, and he talked to her, and just know like now, like, you know, somebody has something in their belly, very cold water on them, and just like, you know, able to eat tonight, able to eat for the next few days. Like, I made sure she was great. I made sure she was able to eat for at least a week. So that's why it's very important to listen to what God's trying to tell you to do, because it could be someone who really needs help. It could be someone who really needs courage, motivation. God's telling you to do things for a reason, not for nothing. So when he tells you to do something, do it, because someone needs your help. Someone needs you. You are God's servant. You are supposed to serve God. When he tells you to do something, obey it. So I learned my lesson, and I know every time he tells me to do something, I'm going to obey what he tells me to do. I'm going to listen to what he's telling me to do, and I'm going to do it. No matter if I'm fearful, no matter if I have anxiety, no matter if I'm scared, I'm going to step out and I'm going to do what he is telling me to do. And you guys should too.